Good morning, distinguished senior members of the academia. Good morning, my colleagues, and good morning, dear students. And of course, good morning, gentlemen and women of the media. Please, may I humbly invite the university librarian to join us on the high table. Prof. Thank you. May I also invite the director of OU Business School to also join us on the high table. And of course, the director Center for Continuing Education, so that's how we also join us on the high table. May I humbly request that all the heads of departments and professors here present should also join us on the high table. My one and only dear Professor B. Akosede, HOD Physiology, Professor Oyemi, HOD Psychology, HOD Geography and Regional Planning. Please also join us on the item. Thank you.
It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to this very wonderful occasion. It is a special one because we have a minister in our midst. It is a special one because it's going to be an eye-opener for all of us. I will be discussing political communications as a tool for winning elections. It goes beyond just the elections at this time. It goes beyond just participation, and that's why, having had a discussion earlier at the radio station, it's also glad to join you here again today. Before we proceed, we would like to please first recognize some very wonderful personalities in the studio. We have I'm almost used to say studio because I've spent most of my life in the studio. I have a state coordinator, Ni Mara Yesa. I'm very sorry if I'm not getting it correct. Mara Yesa, okay, there is one I in between. Then we have the HOD of Political Science. As I mentioned their name, please, let's put our hands together for them. We have also HOD of Political Science, Dr. Aban Sunday Owe. I've seen him earlier. Okay. Dr. Aban, yes, Dr. Aban is just walking in. Please, Dr. Aban, come up. We also have Dr. Bamidele Law, Associate Professor. Is he around? Please put your hands together. Once I mention the name, just put your hands together. We also have Dr. Daniel Polari in the house. Dr. Oladi Pupo in the hall today. Dr. Tolawoshu Odetomi Mohammed. Professor A.J. Abosede in the also here. Please put your hands together for Dr. Comfort Oyafunke. Yes. In case you do not know, she's the one who supervised my project when I was in school. I also have Professor Dasaru Babajide. Please, a round of applause for him. Yes, one of my very wonderful lecturers. And we also have Dr. Omotui Modesola from the political science. All right, we'd like to also recognize our media partners and friends who are also here. From Punch correspondent, Mr. Taiwo Bankole. From NTA, we have Mr. Rashid and Mr. Yenis. We also have from AIT, Mr. Nii Marayesa, and then Mr. Adekoki Uluwatoyin from Paramount, Mr. Adetoyi Bukola, also here, Mrs. Okay, Mrs. I can see what the institution is here. News Agency of Nigeria. Please put your hands together. Okay. Now, having done that, I would like to quickly also create the indulgence that as we get more names, we'll announce that to you. And subsequently, if I've missed any of the names that you're here, be assured that I'll get in contact so that we can duly recognize you. Now, to start the program, we would like to start with a national, state, and OU anthem. So please urge you, if you can, to please rise and let's follow along with the anthem. To start with the national anthem, and then follow up with the state and the OU anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. No tribe and tongue we differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, in peace all bow to honor, and this we count as gain. To honor to our children, a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request.
All of BC on Banjo University, we are the pride of our fatherland. Men of character and great knowledge are produced. We get the best in all the lands. Excellencia, for us, but also people around the world. We shine the light in a world like day. Oh, you great, born in all states and shine in all the land. We shine the light. have our seat. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this day, a day with Alhaji Lai Mohammed. It is going to be an engaging day, an eye-opening day. And like they always say, that the role of every university is to generate ideas through research, transfer that knowledge through education, and also measure the success of every student through continuous assessment. It is on that basis such research will be done and such engagement will be based. But before then, permit me to invite the HOD, Mass Communication, Dr. Olariwaju Akiola, to give his welcome address. Please put your hands together for my HOD once again.
The University Librarian, Professor Mrs. Onifade, the Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, my own Dean, and Professor Dele Odolani. My brother and co-host, the head of department of political science, my twin brother, Dr. Sonny Owen Abam. I think you should be standing beside me so that they know that we are giving this together. The Director, University Center for Continuing Education, Professor Jide Dasaolu. You're welcome. A round of applause for them. Professor Ilo, the one and only businessman on this campus, is the director of the OOU Business School. I welcome you. My wonderful Ekon, retired but definitely not tired. We will not allow you to be tired now. We will pull your legs everywhere. Professor B. Abosede, Ekon, thank you very much. Our own prof, Professor Uyemi, the psychologist. Prof, you're welcome. My fellow heads of department, I want to start on a comforting note. And so the first HOD is the HOD of Sociology and Criminal Studies, Dr. Comfort Omoniyi. Definitely the head of the Department of Psychology, Dr. Essie. You're welcome, sir. And also, coincidentally, the HOD Geography, sir, is sitting on your left, but his name is actually right, Dr. Otun. Also, I recognize people from our major constituency. The dean of my faculty is a journalist and will always remain a journalist. Okay? Am I lying, sir? And so, join me as I welcome and recognize all the gentlemen and women of the press. I observe NTA, FRCN, Paramount FM, AIT, TVC, have I missed NTA? Yeah, I've mentioned NTA. And definitely our own crew from OU Radio and our wonderful student journalist. I must also quickly, I think I will allow the MC to do that, but I recognize all the lecturers, the chairman of the planning committee, Dr. Atewolara Odule. Please arrange the list so that the MC can properly recognize the others. I recognize my friend and brother from religious studies, Dr. Oluwase Shogule. And obviously, I also recognize Associate Professor Semiu Bello. Now, my welcome address first is to thank our guest today, the elder statesman, a spokesperson for opposition party, then transiting to be the spokesperson for the ruling government. Alhaji Lai Mohammed. University librarian, my dean, you remember that you sent me on an errand not too long ago. I was to represent you and myself at the 60th birthday of our brother and friend, Tuji Olubode. And at that event, I'd gone to deliver the goodwill message of my dean and of myself. And as I was leaving to go back to my seat, Alhaji Lai Mohammed was sitting next to His Excellency, the former governor of Ogun State, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba, who were also planning to bring to the department. And he just beckoned on me that I should come. And that little engagement blossomed into a relationship that I set up ask myself, how did I warm myself into the heart of this elder statesman? So once again, I thank you. 2 days ago, as part of the event to mark our annual ASCOM week, we had a public discussion on the title Trust and National Development. We had the privilege of having the former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Alhaji Sharafa Tunji Shola. We had a former resident electoral commissioner to Ogun State and Enugu State, Elder Ahmed Raji. And we also had our own Amazon of television broadcasting, Murayo Afolabi Brown, where we discussed the issue of trust and national development. Yesterday we had a workshop where we brought media specialists, both in print and in broadcast, to come and equip our students with the necessary skills with which they can earn a living and be employers of labor upon graduation. But most importantly, the university management, led by the council chairman, Professor Ashiru, once said that the university must continue to engage the town. And for me, this is one of the manifestations of this town and gown relationship. As I welcome us to this event, librarian and my dean, HOD Post Science, let me say that this department has enjoyed massive goodwill, courtesy of Alhaji Lai Mohammed. my Professor was asking that EFCC was going to prove me that where did I get the resources to put this together? Ebon, before you leave, help me thank Alaji. Today we have Indomie. Someone called me yesterday and told me that I have some consignment at Right Foods, that I should make arrangement to come and pick them. And I was thinking, is this normal scam? I said, okay, fine. But I didn't discuss anything. Then I called the president. Did you write any letter to anybody in Right Foods? So I just ignored that person. But this morning, the person called me again. Coincidentally, Alaji was by my side when the person called. And I said, Alaji, see me, they are calling me from Right Food that we have consignment. He said, yes. I sent something to them that they should help you. So as I'm talking to you now, drinks from Right Foods are on their way here. And let's go to the crux of the matter. There is always a perception to every issue and everything on this earth. Alhaji Mohammed is one of the Nigerian public servants and politicians that is very, very popular, but people see from different sides. Some time ago, I was telling some people I wanted to bring Alhaji Mohammed. Alhaji, I'm going to be very blunt, sir. And that person said, what are you bringing him to come and do? To come and lie to us again? That after all, his name is Lai Mohammed. And I said, well, fine. That's your perception. But please, come to this event. Have the opportunity to engage him. Only 2 days ago, someone also saw me and said, Larry, you are arrogant. And people were waiting for my response. And I told that person, you are a prof, sir. Anything the prof says is correct. And I just walked away. It boils down to the difference between the washer and the washed. When we watch the match on TV or in the stadium, we play better than the people on the field. But when you get opportunity to get on the field, like the 400 level students yesterday, they were trounced by the 100 level students. And so, on this very short note, I welcome you all to this event on behalf of myself, the head of the Department of Mass Communication, on behalf of the head of the Department of Political Science, on behalf of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Ogun State Chapter, and also on behalf of the Nigerian Union of Journalists Ogun State Chapter. Thank you for coming. You are welcome to a day with Lai Mohammed. Thank you.
These distinguished ladies and gentlemen who have been included in this list, and I'd like you all to please join me to recognize Dr. D.O.N. Shobule. Yes, Shobule. Thank you very much. And we have Dr. Adeli Adeleke here also. Dr. Samuel Adelibi was also here. We also have Paul, Dr. Olawumi Omitoju. We also have. Okay, please put your hands together for the Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Dele Odulami. Immediate past Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, who just walked in, Professor Adebile. Well, once the Dean please come up and if it's possible, let's have the Dean sit down with the current Dean. And he's the Dean producing the Dean. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Dr. Samuel Bello, Associate Professor. Dr. Samson Bello. Dr. Saladin Kamaru. Dr. Ima Olunji. Dr. Isabel Akiwamire. Dr. Amoni Akimoya. Dr. Adekola Bello. Mrs. Tony Ajibola. And Mr. Daniel Akriola. Thank you very much. Of Social Sciences, Professor Dele Odulami. Please present the record.
Thank you very much. Let me maintain the protocol already established by the HOD. Particularly, let me acknowledge the presence of our special guest of honor, a man that many love to hate, and you cannot but be in that situation if you have been a spokesman of a political party that was in opposition and later transformed into the ruling government, and the same individual that championed the political communication of the opposition now being the mouthpiece of government. Automatically you inherit the credibility and ability, and the HOD was trying to speak for him. He will speak for himself. He will speak for himself. You are welcome, sir. All the senior professors on the high table and our distinguished colleagues on the other side. Great Ascomites. Greatest of the greatest of the greatest Ascomites. You will notice that in the last 1 week, you have been thoroughly engaged by a number of high-profile guests. It is not for the indomie or the drinks. It is for the professional aspect of the engagement in school. And very soon, you will put those practice those knowledge into practice. The philosophy behind this engagement is for you to interact with the newsmakers. You know, in the parameters of editorial discretion, one of the key things is that you determine the news by prominence in terms of, the pedigree of the source. And when you have the privilege, to engage them, I guess you know the right questions. And without, reading the minds of our special guest of honor, I know that in a forum like this, there will not be limits. It's a no-holds-barred situation. So the questions that you are prepared, be ready to get them across. It's going to be a quite enlightening occasion. I myself am here to learn. Elijah has been engaged at the radio station some minutes ago, and while he was speaking, I felt moved because most of us that criticize, yes, we criticize them too. Because he was the major person we were saying And Marshall McLuhan says that the medium is the message. And at times you don't kill the messenger for the message. He was carrying the weight of Nigeria on his head, and the perspectives he saw, we did not see. But I'm not making case for him to, he will speak by himself. So once again, I want to welcome us all and enjoin us to make the best of the moment as we have this day out with, like the next moment, political communication as a tool of winning elections. So we promise to be an exciting time. Once again, thank you everyone, and I wish you a very exciting time.
The librarian, Professor Feintola Nike Onifade, to now officially declare open the event. Please put your hands together for her.
Good morning, everybody. This my meeting already established protocol. Actually, when I got the invitation, I was wondering where the back home. And this morning when I entered, I saw him live and direct. I must confess to you that this is the first time I'm seeing him so close. I've seen him on the television, I've seen him in other, but not so close like as I'm sitting beside him. And I want to let you know that this is the challenge that you are demonstrating what it takes to be who you will be. Because this is a practical demonstration of the relationship between the ground and the town. And I don't want you to take it for granted. So please, I want you to listen attentively to all that you will learn today, because you might not see these things in your textbook. These are things that you must keep in your in your left hand, so that you will not use it to eat. So I want to congratulate you for being in attendance, and I will admonish you that all that you will learn today, you have to keep record of it, because you will have to refer to it later in life. And on this occasion, at this time, I want to declare this event open.
Once we will recognize more, I'll do that. I'd now like to please invite Dr. A. Salami to take the citations of the guest speaker. Please put your hands together for him as well.
The University Librarian, my dean, and the head of faculty are present. Professors here present, other senior colleagues and colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen. Your responsibility is straightforward, but let me thank you the tradition of scholars to humbly request the representation of Alhaji Lai Mohammed to please stand and remain. Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Commander of the Order of Nigeria, CON, is a distinguished figure in Nigerian politics, law, and strategic communication. He served as the Minister of Information, Arts, and Culture of Nigeria from November 2015 to May 2023, a role where he played a pivotal part in molding the nation's information landscape. His political journey began in 1999 when he assumed the role of Chief of Staff to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current Nigerian president, during his first term as the governor of Lagos State. In 2003, he ran for governorship position under the candidacy of the Alliance for Democracy, AD, in Kwara State. His unwavering commitment to Nigerian politics and governance is evident in his role as the spokesperson of various opposition political parties and NDC, the ruling party, from 2005 to 2015. During this period, his strategic communication skills played a pivotal role in advancing the party's agenda and policies. Currently, Alhaji Mohammed holds a position of managing partner of British Coastal and affiliate of Babak Partners, United States of America, a globally recognized strategic communication and public affairs advisory firm. In this capacity, he continues to leverage his extensive experience, contacts, and expertise to provide valuable insights and guidance in the fields of public relations and strategic communication. His contributions span across various sectors, serving industries and institutions, at subnational, national, and regional levels. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with a sense of responsibility and honor and privilege that I present to you Alhaji Mohammed. Thank you very much.
The University Nigeria, professors, heads of department, the entire academia here, and greatest customers. It gives me great pleasure to be here today. But before I embark on my speech, sometimes in 2019, my then 4-year-old grandson came to me with all seriousness that a 4-year-old could muster. Came and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?" Then I knew I had a problem in my hands. I even my own grandson would be so concerned. Then I'm happy to spend the rest of my life explaining my role, both as a minister and also as a spokesperson for the All Africa Party. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I've put a bit the advertising topic of today. We talk on something I hope may inspire people. Be more relatable, but which definitely will permit you to see a live Mohammed that even Google has yet to capture. I did not have the privilege of studying journalism or mass communication. For the record, my first degree is in French from that great university, Babylon University, which is now called the University of Houston. And then I later went to read law at the University of Lagos, and I was subsequently called to Nigerian Bar. Yet, I've spent about 30 years of my life actively working as spokesperson for one entity or the other. Because whether it is as public relations manager for the Nigerian Airports Authority or the National Public Secretary for Action Congress of Nigeria, or the All Progressive Congress, or even as the Minister of Information and Culture, I've always played the role of a spokesperson. Then I want to ask, what do you need to be successful, or in my case, controversial, as a spokesperson? I would say, a sound education, like the one we are pursuing here, a brilliant mind, confidence, self-esteem, aptitude, courage, integrity, commitment, focus, fearlessness, sometimes bordering on recklessness, but above all, reality. And what I'm now ashamed is at the premium times of April 17th, 2013, said you must also possess the ability to recognize and speak timely on relevant issues. You must possess the ability to write your press releases with aptitude, fitness, tightness, and precision, giving news editor very little room to maneuver. I don't believe we need to belabor ourselves why personification in this field is an indispensable tool for a spokesperson. Back in 1978, one of the graduate assistants at the University of Ilorin, the corner seat hotel there in Ilorin was the favorite hangout of the elite, the state capital. And this is where I met a gentleman, one Mr. Willie Erukuna, who was then the public relations manager for what is today the Federal Affairs Authority. When he introduced himself to me, imagine the audacity and rudeness of a young man. I looked him straight in the face. I said, "You are not doing your job well at all." He said, "Because nobody knows of the existence of the organization." And I said, I said I was a bit diplomatic and a bit rude. I told him he was doing a very poor job because in my perception there, and in that of many Nigerians, only in Nigeria with customs and immigration worked at the airport. But Mr. Lukunabo, gentleman, rather than get angry, he thought it calmly. He said, young man, if you are so critical of my competence and so confident of yours, why don't you come and join me and let's work together to give the organization the robust image you think I'm capable of giving. I arrogantly told him that my focus was in pursuing a career in academics and not in the civil service. However, only a few months later, my dream of doing a PhD in French in Canada was shattered by the introduction of the very first austerity measure in 1978. I had no shame to go back to the same man, and I went to him and said, look, you offered me a job a few months ago. Is the job still available? He looked at him, smiled. He said, young man, if you are lucky, we'll be doing an interview in a few days' time. He said, sit down there. He gave me paper and pen. So write an application. I did. 2 days later, I was shortlisted for the interview. 10 days later, I had a letter of appointment as public relations officer, grade 1 on level 09. That was Nigeria then. You didn't know anybody to get a job. And that's how my career started in public relations. I was subsequently posted to the yet to be commissioned Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos. A couple of days later, I was summoned by the airport manager, who asked me to sit down. He dictated something to me, a story, and said I was expected to make it into a press release and distribute it. I went through it and I said, sir, this press release, this would not be a good idea. And that if I stayed where the decision was taken, I would have advised against it. And innocently, I asked him, I said, why wasn't I invited when this decision was being taken? He said, because this is the emergency decision. And that only officers on grade level 14 and above were entitled to attend my meeting. And I told him, if you don't make me a member of my meeting, I will never sign any press release on your behalf or that of the organization. He was taken aback by my impudence and my impunity. Frankly speaking, I didn't know I was being rude. I just felt I was the right thing to do, to say. Now he looked at me and said, do you know the consequences of your impudence? You know it can cost you your job. It didn't take me long to get a job, so I was not really afraid to lose the job. I was adamant. Then the airport manager, Get must have been very amused with the innocence of my ignorance and my passion for the job. But I was later to learn that Chief Nwake of blessed memory loved to encourage young men, was also very progressive in his thinking, but above all, apparently he had a soft spot for me. At the end, a compromise was reached. I will be allowed to attend my meeting, but only in the status of an observer, with no right to contribute to proceedings. Any intervention or contribution from me would only be made to the airport manager. For me, this was huge, because with the passage of time, I became a full member of management. This is how I want the right to be at the table from the one as a spokesperson. No spokesperson who is not at the table can be effective. However, I would recommend anybody here to do what I did. Because if you do it today, the consequences will be different. Having one seat at the table, the next task of the spokesperson is to win over the respect and confidence of his colleagues and become an integral, nay, indispensable member of the top management team. Recall some 45 years ago, it was an era when the public relations practitioner and the profession was very lowly rated. The public relations practitioners in the late 70s and early 80s was seen as nothing but a provider of an intermediary for all matters that are dishonorable, ranging from procuring women of good virtues to collecting and distributing bribes on behalf of his colleagues. The public relations practitioner was perceived as a fixer of all things disreputable. In fairness, in this era, you hardly found a university graduate in profession. I vehemently rejected any attempt by anyone, however high the system, to make me a gigolo or a bribe facilitator. I was quick to remind any of them that I was the product of a university system like them, and that my job description did not include trafficking in women or facilitating bribery and corruption. In no time, my colleagues came to understand that there was no-go areas, that these were no-go areas, and learned to respect me as an equal. However, for the public relations practitioner to earn the respect of his colleagues and become indispensable, he must also be ready to learn everything under the sky relating to his profession or industry. If he finds himself as a spokesperson in the aviation industry, I found myself at the beginning of my career, he must have at least a working knowledge of the industry, from control tower to the ramp to airport operations metrology to airline safety to aviation security, understood their terminologies and their jargons, and could therefore hold intelligent discourse with them. Gradually, they began to see me not just from their narrow and jaundiced prism of a public relations practitioner, but rather as an equal. This probably accounted for how, though I began my career in the public relations department, I was at various times appointed airport manager and ultimately secretary to the authority. My decision to pursue a law degree and attend the Nigerian law school, even as an employee of the authority, is a classic case of opportunity meeting preparing. Self-esteem and confidence is an indispensable tool for the public relations practitioner. And this again is where a sound, qualitative, and right education become indispensable. The spokesperson must not limit himself or his role or function to press interviews, radio and television appearances, media monitoring, etc., but must see himself as a major stakeholder organization. He must be willing and ready to use public relations as a tool to address challenges confronting his organization. For instance, one of the major challenges facing the Airports Authority in the early 80s, in particular, was impunity and indiscipline, especially from the executive and legislative arms of the government of that day. Some members of the National Assembly of that era had no respect for safety regulations and bylaws of the Airport Authority. Some of them insisted on being driven to the foot of the aircraft for boarding. Some of them turned wrong ways into highways when they were late to catch a train, while some were furious and demanded the heads of management of the airways or any airport official who dare challenge them. They threw tantrums if a flight departed without them, even when they arrived at the airport. They flew 1 hour after their scheduled flight. Because this was the period when only the federal government owned Nigerian Airways Limited was the sole operator on our domestic road. At a point in time, as a result of the irresponsible behavior of this class of people, international aviation authorities threatened to blackmail our airports as unsafe. At the head of populations at the airport, I spearheaded a campaign of naming and shaming, which didn't go down too well in our so-called media, but which fortunately got the solid support of not only my management, but also the government of the day. Fast forward now to the Fourth Republic, where I own my skill as a spokesperson between 2005 and 2006. This time, however, as the National Public Secretary, at different times for the Action Congress of Nigeria, and finally, All Progressive Congress. We, however, need to pause a bit for some political context. When at the end of the general election of 2003, the Alliance for Democracy, the political party that brought me to the political limelight. First as Chief of Staff, President Mohammed when he was Governor of Lagos State. And later, as Kwara State gubernatorial candidate in the 2003 general election, when the party was brutalized and annihilated by Hurricane PDP, to the extent that 5 out of the 6 sitting governors was swept away by the hurricane, sparing only Chodbola Ahmed Tinubu of Lagos State as his lone survivor. It was clear to most discerning progressive politicians of that era that the only way to avoid Nigeria being turned into a one-party state was if progressive politicians of all hues and colors came together to form a mega party and forward with the rapidly elephant, determined to truncate Nigeria's present democracy. Welcome, Ashwani Ahmed Tinubu, to the center stage of Nigerian national politics. The stage he has so thoroughly dominated since then, in the last 25 years, through skill, determination, courage, foresight, selfless sacrifice, and love of country. However, this is not the story for today. Suffice to say that it was during this turbulent political period of 2003 to 2015, during which the PDP consolidated its stranglehold on the Nigerian political and democratic landscape. And out of necessity to survive, that I am not the spokesperson for the Nigerian Opposition Party. The truth of the matter is that Ashwani Ahmed Tinubu actually tried to donated me in the merger struggle, but did not abandon me. He supported me also. As a result, I became the embodiment of the aspirations and ethos of the party. I was able to speak authoritatively for the party without any fear of being contradicted by any party member, no matter how highly placed. The credit for my success, fame, or notoriety, or controversy, depending on which side of the divide you belong, actually goes to President Muhammad Buhari, President Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency Bababisi Akande, His Excellency John Oyogu, and other great leaders of my party, under whom I served at various times, and who gave me a freedom and power never exercised or enjoyed by any spokesperson in the annals of Nigerian political history. It's not that I was infallible, far from that, but I had the cover and support of these great leaders, and also that of the rank and file of my party. During that era, some called me a one-man iron squad, a one-man army. But this is not true. I have behind me one of the finest and greatest communicators Nigeria has ever produced, the President of Mr. Sheikh Wadiye. Now to the meat of the matter. How did I redefine the role of the population officer and National Public Secretary of AC, ACA, and APC? So in terms of priority, being Police Secretary of the party was took priority over family. From the very first day when I emerged as the National Police Secretary of AC, the health, the fortune, the pains, and survival of the party became inseparable from my own health, fortune, pain, or well-being. I became obsessed with the party. I was acutely aware of the many predators that lay in wait to ambush me. I was also not unaware of the fragility and frailty of the party. At this time, you will recall that of the 36 states in the Federation, only one was ruled by an alliance for democracy. I was governor. I was Mohammed. And I hope you want to remember also that Alliance for Democracy or Action Congress reigned in only one of the 36 states until 2009, when the Edo State Election Petition Tribunal declared Comrade Adam Soshomole the duly elected governor of Edo State. You can therefore imagine our situation and how our party, the Alliance for Democracy or Action Congress, was perceived by the larger Nigeria. Up until 2010, when the Ekiti State Governorship Election Tribunal declared His Excellency Governor Kayode John Fayemi the duly elected governor of Ekiti State, in the whole of the southwest Nigeria, Action Congress had only one governor. However, judging from our media presence in Nigeria by 2009, it will be hard to believe that we had only one governor out of 36 and probably less than 1 dozen senators out of 109. How did we achieve this? You will recall that I said earlier that from the moment I became the National Office Secretary of the then AC, it was as if I had no other purpose for living. I breathed AC, I inhaled AC, I slept AC, I had nightmares of AC. My whole world focus and entire being was AC. Any slight or injury on AC, real or perceived, I considered it a personal slight, an injury, and I would immediately retaliate. My loyalty to my party transcended my loyalty to any person or entity. I easily sacrificed friendship and other relationships on the altar of party. A good example was when the late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua was elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the platform of the People's Democratic Party in 2007. And he stretched the olive hand to all other opposition political parties to join in a government of national unity. My voice was one of the most strident in persuading my political party to reject and renounce the great gift. This was despite the fact that the late president and myself had been friends since our school days in 1965 in Kenya. I remember many of my friends said I was stupid and I could become a minister if I only allowed AC to join the government of national unity. One of the most painful sacrifices I had to make as National Public Secretary of the Action Congress of Nigeria was sometimes in August 2011. On that fateful day, I already cleared all pre-boarding formalities with my wife We were both relaxing in the executive lounge at the Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Awaiting boarding announcement of our flight to Jeddah en route Makkah and Medina for Umrah. When my phone rang, behold, it was Ashwani Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then the national leader of our party, AC. And the mistake I made was taking that call. Because the conversation ran like this. Lai, where are you? First, I'm at the airport, waiting to board my flight. To where? Yes, I said to Saudi Arabia. You remember, you forgotten that I paid you farewell yesterday. And you even gave me some money. And also, you asked my wife also to pray for you in Makkah and Medina. Because I remember he said, if I pray for him, God will not answer my prayers. But if my wife prayed for him, God will answer our prayers. I was, oh yes, he said, yes, I remember. But have you heard the latest political development in the country? He said, no. Then after he explained to me the development, I knew there was no Umrah that year again. I only asked him for one request. Please speak to my wife and explain to her why we are not going to make Umrah. After she spoke to my wife, we had to leave the airport. We had to postpone or reschedule our Umrah. And left to say, that was the end of our Umrah that year. When the clouds are ever settled, we were able to resolve the political imbroglio. My wife and I performed our own lesser acts. May Allah forgive all of us our sins. As a spokesperson of the opposition political party, had not only to closely match the government of the day to the ruling party, I also had to learn and predict them. And sometimes I had to deliberately treat them to overreact. I became like a pest. I gave them no respite. We criticized every act and every statement of the federal government. We played and capitalized on the internal schisms of the government and the party. We invested in analytic research and brought to the public glare the policy inconsistencies and contradictions of the federal government and the PDP. We interrogated every statement and action of the government and the ruling party. We forgave no slip, we ignored no mistake or imperfection. We were unrelenting in our attack. There was simply no no-go area for us. We policed tightly every step, every decision, every utterance of the federal government and the ruling party. We issued daily press releases in addition to radio and television appearances. In the words of Malam Garba Shehu, in his article in the Premium Time of April 17, 2013, supporting my nomination as leadership newspaper politician of the year. And I quote, "The pedagogy of what Lai Mohammed is doing, that it teaches Nigerian politicians to practice politics by the power of the words." When you see what they are doing in the British Parliament, you will notice that there is a tradition there of debate powered by eloquence and the choice of words. They used to say this for our First Republic politicians. When those colorful politicians, like the late K.O. by the way, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo took the floor, whether in Parliament or the so-called radio or newspaper interviews. They knifed opponents and opponents' ideas to death using words, not knives. They did not use guns or matches as we have nowadays. We have vibrant, he went on to say, we have a vibrant media in this country. The traditional media, the TV, radio, and the print press have tremendous impact on this society. And that is where life is the master. He speaks on the relevant issue. He speaks on a relevant issue every day. Writing releases with aptitude, fineness, tightness, and precision, giving news editors ability to maneuver. The new media, the SMS, the blogs, Twitter, Facebook, and so forth are equally important and are gradually making inroads here. There too, lie is increasingly present. Lie is the standard bearer when the issue is opposition research politics. It's not an easy thing to have the entire gamut of the Nigerian government on the defensive, but there is life for you. Like an old Marxian propagandist, lies, unlike most political actors, has empathy towards the people. You cannot be a leader when you don't share feelings with the people. To that extent, is proactive, always the one taking the battle to the ruling government and party. Give or take from this, lie has used effective communication to paint the present administration, of which its party is in position, as one that doesn't address problems until we reach a crisis point. Like it is a government grossly incompetent without vision, policies, and future direction for the country. And today's government is not focused on the problems of the people and the nation, but focused on amassing personal wealth by hook or by crook. Lie has been successful in painting this administration as a coalition of like-minded groups who bent on clinging to old privileges are driving the country along the modern line. End of quote. It's important to know that at the time that Bashir wrote this, he was not a member of APC. He was actually the spokesperson for Atiku Abubakar in the PDP. He also claims from President Muhammad Buhari forward to my book, Witness to History, copies of which I intend to donate to both departments of mass communication and political science today. He resigned his privileged position as Chief of Staff to then Lagos State Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu to run for the governorship of Kwara State under the platform of Hands for the Vote. What was significant for me then was that Alhaji is not only a well-rounded Nigerian, a Kwara serving as member of Lagos State Council, but an altruistic politician willing to sacrifice a comfortable position to pursue a more noble public purpose. Though he lost the massively rigged election as an all did in 2003, he earned my respect and admiration. And I died then in 2005 as a coordinator of the political combination that ultimately became known to be as the Action Congress of Nigeria. and the National Publicity Secretary of the party. In that role since 2006, he achieved national prominence and the sole opposition voice in Nigeria, and has remained so until recently on our party's own TV fashion as followed in a like festivities. On subsequently meeting Elijah Live, I getting to know him better. My respect for his intellect, sound judgment, and loyalty to principles increased in leaps and bounds. I've come to the conclusion that he's more than a spokesperson for his party, more than a quiet and loyal brain box of ACA and a short border, but the loudest and consistent voice in defense of democracy, liberty, and social justice in our country under this fourth republic. This book is a collection of the speeches, media statements, interventions that will persuade you as have been persuaded to conclude as such. Now I will just skip and go to the observation of another position. And at this time again, note, Muhammad Buhari was not in ACA, was in the CPC. Now, another distinguished Nigerian that wrote a tribute to that book is Chief Babatokwe. And I quote, he says, one of the very first introductory lessons given to fresh students in journalism is about the unusual nature of the profession, news presentation. It is said that when a dog bites a man, no news is made. But however, a man bites a dog, and such is reported, there the news has been made. Such a news item surely is about the unusual. What Nigerians will be reading in this book, written by one of the very best practitioners of the political party system in Nigeria today, Elijah Mohammed, includes this unusual tribute from the hands of his member of a major political party in Nigeria, opposed to Elijah Mohammed's political party. I'm a member of the People's Democratic Party that since 1999 has been in control with the opposition political party represented by Elijah Mohammed as his chief officer. Our ideas differ. Our approach to party organization is never the same, as both our parties are diametrically opposed on nearly all social issues. Despite the above, I am a fan of Elijah Mohammed. His writings, his prejudices, and his political utterances designed to explain the position of his political party are so brilliantly and intellectually presented that one cannot but love his person and love the style of his presentation. Though I can never be taken by a stout and brilliant defense of his political party in all his massive media presentation, I can however not stop in admiring Elijah Mohammed. Now, I read this comments, which not at this program, but I believe that when the paper is academic, not the academic much. Now, the great wedding of the ACA, AFPP, CPC, and factions of AFGA and PDP was finally consummated on the 31st of July 2020, giving birth to the All Progressive Congress, which has been in power since 2015. At the official launch of the first scientific-based audience measurement system in broadcast image on the 6th of June this year, a serving distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on hearing the announcement of my presence at the event, told the audience that he used to be an ardent fan of mine and a political mentor, hero, and role model when I was the opposition spokesperson. But however, he was disappointed that I was not that effective or inspiring as a spokesperson for the federal government. In truth, I've had similar comments from many sources, including political commentators and associates and even friends. I wish to use this platform to respond to such criticism. If I'm correct, and I say this with all sense of humility and gratitude to Allah, I'm probably the only living Nigerian who was back-to-back opposition spokesperson for a record 10 years and followed immediately as government spokesperson for another 8 years. I believe I'm therefore qualified and competent to know the difference between the two and to speak authoritatively on the similarities and dissimilarities of the two positions. An opposition spokesperson, as an opposition spokesperson, you have only one goal in mind: bringing down the ruling government. Advance the cause of your political party to win election. The reality is only your political party. We have only one obsession: use words to remove the ruling party and replace it with your own party. To achieve this, the opposition spokesperson was constantly be in the consciousness and minds of the people. And he does this consistently from party to ruling party from all sides. Areas, radio and television, by land, newspapers, and even spirituality, using digital platforms. It's consumed by hunger, anger, and desperation to set the ruling party in good. Is a rampant elephant that does not rest on the ruling party is destroyed and annihilated. That precisely was my mission between 2005 and 2015. And alhamdulillah, we achieved that mission. I want to say the observations of Bashir and also that of Now, however, as a spokesperson of the federal government, the talk is different. Very different. Therefore, the rules, tactics, and strategies also apply. Now, recall that prior to adoption of office, every minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria takes 2 oaths. One is called oath of allegiance, and the other is called oath of office. Oath of allegiance says this oath is a pledge of loyalty to Nigeria. Ministers swear to be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. The oath of office commits the minister to faithfully execute the duties of the office. It includes a commitment to discharge these duties in accordance with the Constitution, the law, and to the best of his ability, to the utmost of his loyalty and conscience. When I became spokesperson for ACACNC, there was even no time for any oath. The only oath was to the party. The only allegiance was to the party. So you can see here different ones. Therefore, as a minister of information, the era of weak of free will, impunity, activism, recklessness, desperation, and never make their attitude as the opposition spokesperson is now vanished forever. It is now replaced with temperance, accuracy, fact-checking, national security consideration, geopolitical balancing, national cohesion, and above all, the corporate existence and well-being of the country. As a spokesperson of the federal government, your allegiance and loyalty is now to the entire people and government of Nigeria, and no longer just your political party. His Excellency, Kari Bayeri once reminded me, you campaign in politics, but you rule in policy. Every Minister of Information will therefore have passion for himself how to abide by the two oaths. Let me state clearly, equivocally here, that as a minister, neither the handover notes, your studies, the Indian School of Politics, or Harvard, or Columbia University, or even Norway, can adequately prepare you for the office. You are completely on your own. You will need to rely only on your creativeness, intuition, ability to think on your feet, intellectual background, network of friends and associates, academic and professional background, mental aptitude, personal worldviews, etc. Soon after our party, the All Progressive Congress, won election in 2015 on the mantra of change. And I begin to suspect that I may be appointed a federal minister. I immediately put together a small team, therefore, Mr. Adeyemi, Mr. Bullet, late Brian, to deliberate on what my priority as a federal minister of information should be. At my home court, we organized a 3-day brainstorming session. Retreat outside Lagos. And came out with the conclusion that if Nigeria is too late to change, then that change will have to involve every Nigerian bottom up and must. And that change must have the backing and support of all Nigerians. Convinced that this was the way to go, we approached a leading advertising agency in Nigeria, Center Spread Grade, and commissioned it to develop the multimedia national campaign of change, which gave back to the Change Business campaign, which was launched on the 8th of December 2016 by President Mohammed. The campaign was to run on television, press, radio, and outdoor. Because I was about 10 years ago when this was conceived. That digital advertising, otherwise referred to as social media, had not become so popular. Otherwise, it would have been included. Regrettably, due to possible funds and other challenges, the campaign would not achieve its said objective. However, I must appreciate the contribution of certain individuals to the success of the campaign. Mr. Wahid Olagoju, who was then acting managing director of Bank Industry, was one of the major sponsors. The former MDs of both FRC, the NCA, Mohammed, and Dr. Mansour Liman, also deserves to be appreciated for quantifiable airtime they gave on their platform for this campaign. So this was a campaign we conceived even before, and this is why I believe that for you as a spokesperson, you have to be proactive, you have to think ahead locally. As a spokesperson of APC, my party and I were very critical of the way and manner the Jonathan administration prosecuted the Boko Haram insurgents. Therefore, upon assuming office, I prioritized visiting the liberated communities that have been hardest hit by the Boko Haram insurgents. As a government spokesperson, it was essential for me to gain first-hand information on the extent of destruction caused by terrorists and to reframe the narrative of government on the success of our armed forces in combating the Boko Haram insurgency. My mission took me to Maiduguri, Konduga, Kauri, and Bama, which was once considered the so-called caliphate of Boko Haram, and which used to be the epicenter of the Boko Haram war. Accompanying me on this trip were about 40 journalists from print, electronics, and international media. The trip was not only an eye-opener, it changed the entire narrative about the Boko Haram insurgency. It was also to be a turning point in my relationship with the Nigerian ministry and the beginning of my respect for our ministry and an enduring collaboration and friendship between my ministry and the Nigerian institution. The relationship that is still serving me very well. But that is the positive aspect of the trip. In the home front, domestically with my wife, it was a failure. Because when 2 days later, my wife read in the newspaper and on the internet that I sneaked out to go to Boko Haram to hemisphere. He woke me up and he said, "You confess for me to only." In other words, he wanted to become a widow. Now, when President Muhammad Buhari took office on May 2015, the controversy surrounding the abduction of the Chibok school girls was at its peak. Importantly, there was a subtle effort to blackmail the Buhari administration, accusing it of being very little to secure the release of the girls from their abduction. Even though these girls had been kidnapped to all 10 months before we won the election. Today, to change this narrative, as the Minister of Information, I organized a trip with the Bring Back Our Girls group and the media to Yola. There, the Nigerian Air Force briefed us and provided us some of their combat jets to accompany them on sorties across the Sambisa forest in Borno in search of their abducted girls. Initially, the Bring Back Our Girls group was reluctant to join the trip for two persuasion. Their leader, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, the convener, Aisha Yusuf, and Dr. Manasseh Ali, who was also the spokesperson of the Chibok community, participated in the trip. The expedition was mostly the brainchild of the former chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, and he and the former Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Mansour Donali, joined us on the trip. This unique opportunity allowed us, in the company of representatives of the Great Congress and the media, to witness firsthand the effort being carried out to search for the smugglers and to another extent corrected the erroneous impression that the government was not doing enough to bring back the abducted girls, and also muted the peaceful student campaign for the bring back of the school. I want you to recall that on February 1928, a group of terrorists struck in Dachi town, Yobe State, abducting scores of students from the government of Science and Technical College. As the government spokesperson, it found the situation both challenging and traumatizing. The media was circulating different versions of the story, including varying figures of those involved. I organized an emergency trip to that with two of my cabinet colleagues, the Honorable Minister of Interior there, Sarah Abraham, and the Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, Her Excellency Egypt and subterraneans, to uncover the facts about the abduction and to determine the exact number of students taken by the project. The objective of the trip was achieved as the media had the opportunity to speak with witnesses and community members about the circumstances of the abduction, effectively countering false narrative from mainstream. We also issued the media statement listing the names of all the abducted, of all those abductees, and confirming the exact number of those names. By the grace of God and through the tireless efforts of our security forces, all the students abducted were returned, were rescued unharmed, except Leah Sharibu. On April 25th, 2016, under my leadership, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture launched the Turn On Meeting Series. This initiative aimed to bridge the communication gap between the government and the people, involving them in governance process and obtaining their feedback. We use this platform to account for the government actions to the citizens. The town hall meetings brought together citizens from various walks of life and ministers from different ministries to openly discuss the government's effort to address challenges faced by the people. We conducted 23 town hall meetings nationwide, covering issues such as farmers' header splash, youth employment, banditry, vandalism of public infrastructure, provision of infrastructure, agricultural intervention, insecurity, and value orientation. To ensure effective communication, some meetings were held in local languages, such as Hausa in Kano, and Igbo in Enugu. The feedback from this meeting was compiled into reports, which were then submitted to the federal government for deliberation and further action. Since the administration's inception in 2015, we highlighted its accomplishments through town hall meetings, press conferences, radio and TV documentaries, media appearances, and testimony teams. However, scorecard series was intended to consolidate our efforts and showcase this achievement. The testimony series on television, radio, and social media was implemented to provide Nigerians the opportunity to hear directly from the beneficiaries of government, social intervention programs, and online infrastructure projects across the country. This initiative was to showcase the tangible impact of this project on the lives of others, highlighting the government's commitment to improving the welfare and the infrastructure of the nation. We went behind the television screen to assemble some of the beneficiaries of those projects and at an elaborate program where they physically interacted with Nigerians and the media. In addition to government-funded projects, some private companies leverage government policies to invest in new industries or expand their production lines, thereby stimulating the economy and creating job opportunities for Nigerians. We also visited such projects with the media. We inspected various significant projects including the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Main Line, the Oyo-Ilorin Expressway, the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, the Abuja-Kaduna Standard Gauge, the reconstruction of the runway at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the end of the Nigerian Refined Natural Gas Limited in Bonny, River Street, the second Niger Bridge, and the local Oweto Bridge, the Department of Petroleum Resources, the Dangote Refinery and Dangote Fertilizers, and Petrochemical Industry, Bua Cement, the Sokoto, Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing Company, and Guinea, rice farms and mills in Kenya, rice mills in Kano, and road projects in Houston. As the Buhari administration wound down, on October 19, 2022, we launched the PLP scorecard. I can understand why. As the Buhari administration wound down, on October 19, 2022, we launched the PLP scorecard series, a platform designed to showcase the achievements of every Mohammed. The PLP scorecard series involved detailed PowerPoint presentations by all the ministers who took turns interacting with Nigerians on a multimedia platform, highlighting the achievements of their respective units. At the conclusion of the series, we edited and compiled all the presentations into 2 comprehensive volumes, which are now available for research purposes and posterity. Additionally, we designed and launched a portal, www.plbscorecard.gov.ng, where all the presentations are hosted online for easy access, both within Nigeria and globally. our initiative of conducting media tours of projects across the country was a deliberate strategy to go beyond press statements and bring Nigeria to the actual projects to verify the government implementation effort. The above highlights interventions and programs. The above highlighted intervention and programs were in addition to regular press conferences, radio and TV documentaries, media press conferences, etc. I've just highlighted about 8 or 9 Nobel programs I curated during my 8 years for job. Now as the Minister of Information and Culture. These were projects I did not inherit from any handover note or make any of my predecessors execute. Therefore, those who hold the view that was more effective as opposition spokesperson and as the Federal Minister of Agriculture probably were expecting the same kind of fiery activity, confrontational journalism, and headline grabbing utterances they enjoyed and witnessed when I was opposition spokesperson. Regrettably, the new assignment, Federal Minister of Information and Culture, required new tactics and strategies.
I want you to please put your hands together again for him. I'm very sure you will agree it has actually been a day with a political icon, a lawyer, and also someone that we can learn a lot from. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Mohammed, popularly called Mohammed. He has talked about political communications as a tool for winning elections. Now, having done that, we would like to quickly just have this rendition. This rendition is supposed to have come before your citation, but because of some imperfections that is beyond human control, I think it would be appropriate to do this immediately after your speech. It is my pleasure to please welcome, your hands are not too busy, already Poluke, who is going to have the aim rendition for Elijah Lai Mohammed.
Àlejò, akẹ́kọ̀ọ́, olùkọ́, mo kí gbogbo èèyàn pàtàkì tó wà lórí ìjókòó, mo kí àlejò pàtàkì wa lónìí, ṣe dáadáa lẹ́gbẹ́, ẹ kú ewu ojú ọ̀nà, ọ̀dẹ̀ ò dàbí o, mo kí yín tológun, mo kí yín tẹ̀ṣọ́, mo kí yín ti gbogbo ara, ẹni iyì, ẹni ẹ̀yẹ, ẹni pàtàkì, ẹni ńlá, ẹni à ń pérí rẹ̀ bí ẹni à ń pérí ọba, ẹ mà bá mi kí onínú ire. Bàbá dáadáa ni ẹ káàbọ̀ sáàárín wa, àti retí yín láti gbà yí wá, ẹ kú àdúró sí wa ní gbogbo ògbà. Tọ́wọ́ wá níta lẹni tí mò ń kí lọ́wọ́, Lai Mohammed ni ọmọ wọn lóró nípínlẹ̀ Kwara, ṣe ń bá ọ délé àwọn bàbá rẹ̀. Olónílé o, tẹ̀lé kókó ọlọ́fíà ta ló mọ̀ pé kókó ọlọ́fíà ló dojú di àkúnlẹ̀kọ́ lé bàbá tó bí ọlọ́mọ ewé tó bí mi yóò ìwọ lọ́wọ́ òkàn bíbí ọba tẹ̀ títí máa tẹ̀lé lé kókó ọlọ́fíà aláìlóbìnrin ò máa ta ọmọ lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́fí láyé náà wọ́n kì ọ́ bí ọlọ́mọ ẹrú òru wọ́n kì ọ́ bí olókùn ìwọ̀pá ọlọ́pàá
so that we can now start with who asked the questions first. So the questions will come first from students, also from the lecturers, and then we'll also have a question from our friends here. So please, let me just allow 1 minute so that the DJ can just play something soft for, and then I'll be right back. To come. We would like to have three questions from undergraduates, 2 questions from postgraduates, and we have also questions from our lecturers here. So if you have a question and you're a student, please, okay, postgraduate, good. Well, I'll give you number 1 for postgraduate. Postgraduate number 2. Thank you very much. So for undergraduate, let's have questions. If you would love to ask a question, okay. Number 1 for undergraduate. Number 1. Let's have 2 more. Let's have ladies. All of the people have been males here. Okay, number 2. One more. Let's have one more on the graduate. I prefer a lady. Good. Number 3. So, and then, please come forward.
A PhD student here. So from what you have delivered so far, as a student of mass communication, my question is this. Propaganda as one of the things we academics normally debate on. Over the years, you have been practicing all your life, let me use that word. You have been practicing corporate relations. At what point have you ever find yourself using propaganda? And
incidentally, my PhD is centered on the use of digital tools for fact-checking information on presidential election. The use of digital tools for fact-checking information on presidential election. And in my analysis, I look at the concept of false information, which is fake misinformation, and the issue relating to the adoption of these digital tools for social media. And when you are in power, we look at the analysis of the adoption of social media, especially the transition of the then image of the former president of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, as someone that is terrorist inclined, to someone that was later liked by Nigerians for him to have won that the election. So what did you do personally to transit that personality from someone that was not liked, especially on social media, to someone that was liked? Would you like to share that perspective? Number 2, we talked about the issue of social media and regulations. And in our analysis, more emphasis has been laid on social media regulation and the intersection of false information and hate speech. That misconception. Sometimes we misplace misinformation with hate speech. Then, in your administration, you are also accused then of anyone that is found guilty of spreading false information should be sentenced to death. That was a proposal then. That was a proposal then. From the narrative during your administration, that was a proposal then. So, what do you think should be the lasting solution to the challenge of spread of false information, especially during the political process? Thank you.
Student of political science. Firstly, sir, I would like to say thank you for blessing us with your presence, particularly for me as a political science student. It has been a blessing to me. So my question is 2 in 1, and the first one goes to sir, as somebody that has been in politics, sir, like we have learned some theoretical part about politics, view of politics, but sir, now empirically, I want you to tell me, like, the best part of your view of politics generally, the best part, the worst part, the bitter part and sweet parts of politics. And sir, the second question is that for somebody, a young person that has ambition of being a politician in Nigeria, what is your advice for that person? Especially for someone that does not have anyone in politics, that does not know anybody in current state politics. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Excellent question. Please come forward.
My name is Laura Mass Communication Department. Sorry, so my question is that I always say that I really took notes of everything in this video. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. So my question is, as we all know in Nigeria, most youth are they are kind of, they don't have that courage to go for any position, because mostly majority of those positions are mostly occupied by the elder ones. And like for youth, how can youth become more into politics? And like can you help us, like, just tell us, give us an advice on how we can go on? Although I love politics, I love it so much, but I'm being discouraged sometimes because majority of youth are not, you don't have that courage to be able to like go forward because you think that the older ones are always there.
Thank you very much. I don't know. I don't know who devised the word propaganda. Honestly. Because if you talk about advocacy, I understand advocacy very well. Now, if you look, because when you hear the word propaganda these days, it's as if you are quoting on truth in some flavor. No. See, you need advocacy. You need to wake up people's awareness. You need to argue your case forcefully and continuously. Now, you see, when you start hearing the same thing over and over again, the tendency is for you to believe that it's a lie. I think the word propaganda was used effectively when there was world power, the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. I think the Western Bloc had a credit what was going on in the Eastern Bloc, termed everything propaganda. So today is very confident to don't understand if the argument of your opponent becomes too powerful, you just say it's propaganda. Now, as a practitioner, I use a lot of advocacy, and I use billboards, I use radio, television, media appearance, even influencers. Now, if this is what you call propaganda, yes, I'm guilty of it, but not setting out deliberately to tell lies. See, many people say, I lied. And I ask them, give me one single example of my life. Nobody has been able to come up with one. Either as minister of information or as spokesperson. Oh yes, I'm going to argue passionately for my position. You don't have to like it. You don't have to accept it. Sometimes I may be wrong. Of course, I'm not infallible. But I've never set out to deliberately put the one where the eyes are available. And you see, no spokesperson or peer practitioner should indulge in that. No matter how tough the situation is, you just remain focused. I'll give you an example which is not popular with all of you. The answers. During the answers saga, I was called all sorts of names. Some of them, during the answers saga, I was not only abused, my children were abused, they were bullied online, and it got me ahead that I took pity on them. And I said, answers. Answers. I was trying to, not to tell you something, I'll tell you. At the height of the answers protest, my children, my family, they were so vilified that my wife and my children actually prevailed on me to resign as a minister. Because going to them, we are taking no benefit from you as a minister. But our businesses are suffering because online they wage war against my daughter. One of my daughters is a fashion designer, and they wage war on her. Nobody will patronize her business. We have to ask those soldiers, we have to trap soldiers to protect our houses, our shops. So it got so traumatizing for my kids that they said I should please resign as a minister. And I told them that few reasons I will not resign. The first is that these are rumors, they are fake news, they are not true. The second is that why would I resign and betray my leader because of some challenges? And I said, thirdly, I'm not resigning because of you people, you my children. I don't want you to walk the street and somebody will refer to you as the children of the man who betrayed his leader. That was how we love it. Now, when I go back to answers, the popular but very untrue version was that soldiers opened fire on innocent students, on innocent protesters, and they let me told it. No. We never said people did not die during answers. In fact, there were 57 lives that were lost all over Nigeria, but not returned. Because we know that when we are deploying troops in a particular field, there are procedures. The troops that went to soldiers went with black shorts. They are not live ammunition. And now it's 3 years after answers. I'm yet to see one person who will say, my son, when he told me he didn't come back. And like I said to CLA, I said, if you have a goat, he does not come home one night, you go out to look for it. Not to talk about human beings. Are those people that were doing that, they have no families, no children, no relations? But it was not popular. But I maintained my stand. And I still say today, I want somebody to come out and say, my son, my daughter, when we told me on October 20, they didn't come back. So as a clear those persons, we need courage. It's not, you see, this is not about popularity. You can popular, however, you must remain focused. Now, the second part of it, yeah, you see, this is very interesting. Yes, when was a military ruler between 1983 and 1985. And in his own words, he was so passionate about turning Nigeria around. Why he was so obsessed with the level of corruption and with the level of indiscipline in Nigeria. That Buhari decided to say, look, I'm going to change the jurisprudence of Nigeria. If I arrest you, you are guilty. Go and prove your innocence. You know, under common law, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. I said, no. I know you are guilty. Go and prove your innocence. And that's what people said. All you see, what is dictator? You go from dictate. When you dictate something to somebody, once you're not elected into parliament or the president, you find yourself in a position of leadership of power, you're a dictator. Because nobody voted you there. Now, in branding of Buhari from dictator to civilian. I think we must credit the team that handled that job. I don't think I'm at liberty to disclose the various steps we took. But I think as students of PR and students of communication, you need to go and study it. But I think the problem with Buhari is not your run-of-the-mill politician. He was a taciturn person, but he was very badly understood. Nobody really knew that, nobody knows that Buhari has, a humorous side. People look at him as very stern. It's not true. I remember one day when we started the merger program. We used to go to Kaduna, and every time we were there, one would provide either lunch or dinner for us. And when they asked me to come and eat, I would not eat. Because it either fell on a Monday or a Thursday. And since my adult life, I've been fasting every Monday and every Thursday. So what was so confused. One day he called me. He said, are you afraid of me poisoning you? Why don't you eat in my house? I said, no, Your Excellency. I come here only on Mondays and Thursdays, and I fast on Mondays and Thursdays. He said, oh, sorry, I didn't know. Then after a while, he called me one day to the office. He said, tell me the truth. How many people have you killed? I said, sir, killed? Not anybody. He said, even me. So you're aware you kill person. I know they fast, but they fast. That's the side of one that people don't kill. So, but I think I like that question, and it's a very good one. And I think I want to try to develop a thesis on it. Although if I do, I promise I go over the week for specificity. No, that's not the question. That's perspective. Yes. No, but I'll take the good, the bad first. Very interesting. The good, the bad, and the ugly of politics. Well, see, when I was looking for governorship in Kwara State, there was nothing did not do to become a governor. And the moment you want to become a governor, all spiritual leaders, they come to you and they prophesy that you are going to win. Now this particular one, my wife loved him so much. Anytime we went to see him for prayers, he would say, he would never address me as Alaji or as a kindly. He will address me as Gomina. He told me, Wallahi, Mutiliolaga Gomina. You are not talking to you are Gomina. In other words, I've seen you. You are sitting in your office as a governor. For a fact, I can assure you, even if people of honor use the vote, I want to know people. Okay, Becky, I find you. Who explain? People don't really know that government. What happened? Because I told my wife, I said, Mommy, please, let's go and see this man again. The man told me he saw me sitting on the governor's seat. So what happened? My wife said, no, we don't humiliate people that way. I said, no, Mom, it's important. So one day, I think my wife reluctantly agreed to go to see the man. So now, Baba, ẹ máa ṣe ìtọ́jú wa, kó àìlú ti wa. But what actually happened? Baba, ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ pé rí mi ní orí ìjókòó gómìnà ni? Ta ló wá yẹ àgàkó ojú? Lọ́dọ̀ wa, ìṣẹ́bí ìṣẹ́ ìṣọ́ mi, ṣéjọ́ the governor say, what happened? He said, wàláì, kódà bí ó ti ṣe ń wò ní orí àga gómìnà lọ́wọ́. Àsìkò nìkan ni ọlọ́run fi hàn mí. In other words, he said, even as I am now, I'm still sitting on the governor's seat. But notice that God has not told me the time I'll become governor. So you can see that there's also some human moments in politics. But the time is divided. But for the politician, the good time, probably when you win election. And the bad time, when you lose election. For me, I have won election and I've lost election. So I've seen the good and the bad. But it is the moments we remember. Sometimes you can't classify them into either good or bad, but it's part of your experience. I'll tell you one thing. What you learn in politics, you never learn in Harvard or Yale or Agraway. In your university, the university of life is politics. You know, in 1991, my partner in my law firm there, Yobi was campaigning to the SDP government. So normally we go around, we try to get support. When I went to this man, he graduated. He told us something, and we didn't believe it, but it turned out true. He said it, he said, you see, my son, that politics is the only, he said it's the only aspiration that you go into, even before you win, they start calling you governor. Don't be taking, they will report your secretary, they will call it distinguished. They have not even started election. But he said, don't bring people around you. He said, dogs are more faithful. Dogs are more faithful than human beings. He said, when we are going in farm, the day the dog doesn't want to go, when you look back, you don't see he has gone home. So you know you are alone. Said in politics, they are behind you physically, but they are not with you. On the day of election is when you know that you don't have them. So what you learn in politics, you will not learn anywhere. Makes you a very learned person. tasted the good when Buhari won election, APC won. I've tasted the good when I was appointed minister twice. I've been at the bottom when I lost election as governor. Overall, I think I have not regretted the day I entered politics. Thank you very much. That's a very good question. For a known person, how do you get responsible without knowing anybody? No, if you are truly, number one, if you are not seeking for office, and you're not passionate about governance, about politics, you don't really have to be obstacles. But what I would advise anybody that wants to go into politics is local. All politics is local. Now, wherever you live, you must be recognized as a stakeholder. You must take part in all political meetings. You must also be ready to contribute your own quota. And then it pays. It takes time, but it takes time, but it pays. When you pay your due, it helps, I agree with you. It helps, I agree with you, to have a political mentor or a political father. But even then, even the rich also cry. In 2015, my son ran to me and said he wanted to run for, 2011. My son, a lawyer, said he wanted to run for House of Assembly election. That was 2010. I don't know. Everyone tell my guy. I went to Ashwadi. Excellency, your son, my son, says he wants to run for House of Assembly. I said, where do you? He said, are you still in Kenya? I said, yes, sir. He said, there are two seats, there are two constituencies in Kenya. Let me find out. Because we live in the GRA. If it is not the other one, why not? So I went back. I said, yes, you can go and run. So Paul was very happy with printed posters. We were jubilating, we were campaigning. Then one day Ashwadi called me, Larry Bolowa. He said, in the house, I said, the carry around. I went to him. He said, like, so for Jimmy, you could have Joko, Holy Lomo. And I said, why, sir? He explained to me why. I went to my wife. Why? I said, why were you going? He said, you know, before he was dead, Speaker of the House. And only was going to contest from GRA in Kenya. So, my son had to give up. He had to sacrifice my son. But if he's sitting Speaker of the House, he's contesting the same constituency as your son, of course, your son has to give it up. So what about first? I told my wife. My wife said, no. So this is when they need you, you don't remember this. One that missing. I was not able to convince my wife. Until one day God gave me wisdom. He was one and no, my contest me too, but I contest only APC. I was in party. One day, I called her. I said, Mommy, ọmọ mélòó lẹ fi kẹ́ tó fẹ́ mi? Ṣé ẹgbẹ́ ọkùnrin mi yẹ bí síta ni? Kí ló dé? Oníṣòrí bọ̀ ni wọ́n lè kọ́ lọ́kùnrin tẹ́lẹ̀ tí mo mọ̀ tó jẹ́ tèmi o. Ẹ wá ní kó máa lọ bá Kúforíjì, kó máa lọ bá Dùfò. Ẹ̀pẹ́ ni Kúforíjì ó lóògùn. That was how I found my wife.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, now, but that's not the point I'm making. So, my son had a stepdad for each 2011. So he was speaker around. In 2014, Ashwadi himself called me and said, like, yes, only Nikolai. I told him, okay, we are going to run this time around. But for people who don't know, they will say he ran in 2015 because he was like Mohammed's son. I was imposed. But my son has also suffered, in position before. So, but my advice, please, join politics, be passionate about it, and you will be recognized sooner or later.
Thank you, sir. Sorry.
There's the fake news and the... Now, fake news is big business. Very big business. And you have all kinds of, there's what we call deep fake. Deep fake is such that you will not even know the difference between the real thing. Now, when we started campaigning against fake news, people thought we were trying to check was no. Fake news is not just about politics. I told a gathering about 4 months ago how fake news almost cost me my 40-year marriage. In our early days in government, they were publishing fake news about how much money we had in accounts. I think they put, I don't know whether it was 40, whether it was what they put about $1.10 billion that I had in the foreign account. I knew it was fake news. I don't even very bother to discount it. Until one day, my wife woke me up middle of the night, said that you go dojo, Arudos, and the Nico friend, my friend, Oya, and Nicoya, Daddy, and then their signatures are out here. Let me translate. Now, what my wife broke me up with the job again. And said that, this life, you can say we are going to live long. We will not live long. And I think we are going to live, we might go to that tomorrow. We will live forever. Please, that account, why you have 1.9 billion, let me also be a signatory to it. I said, which account, Mommy? He said, she read it online. Mommy, and you believe it? He said, Daddy, everybody, even my friends, they ask me for money every time, thinking that my husband has 1.9 billion. And I start harder. Mommy, I earned 1 million naira So, I said my allocation as Minister of Proportion and Call is 5 billion naira. See, if I spend 8 years with 40 billion, you see, this 1.9 billion would take me 90 years as a minister to accumulate. So, in the middle of the night, I have to go look for a calculator. So, I that my wife said that this thing is fake. But I thank God she believed me. So, fake news is not just about government. Many people have committed suicide because of the way they've been bullied, on the social media. Many marriages have been destroyed. I see what brings me about fake news is that we all enjoy fake news. We all like to read bad news about other people. But when it concerns us, then we start complaining. Now, you get an information. You don't even think about it. You don't check. You share. And by the time you know it, the whole world believes it. And for government, it is a serious matter. I will give you 2 examples. One day, in Kaduna, a popular influencer issued a statement on his blog that some 7 Christians had been killed by Muslim fanatics in Kaduna. Before we knew it, the Christian youth were also planning retaliation. And I made a call Madam Elfan. Said, what happened? Said, nothing like that happened. So many we had to go and call the leaders in Kaduna to debunk the news. Otherwise, they would have killed people for fun. So, the issue of fake news, information is capable of stabilizing not just government, even the fabric of society. So it does all work towards, eradication. And also, people, as I say, is sometimes because government does not, speak on time. Is that why you should fabricate what is not true? But the truth is that in big business, people who have sites, who have blogs, they have more traffic, more advertisement when they rely on fake news. That's the whole thing. But it's a menace and we must work against it. Thank you very much.
A round of applause. While you were answering the question, we had the privilege of having my mom, Senator Rahman Olaleko Mustafa, walking here. Thank you. But it came at a very good time, sir. While you were trying to answer the question asked by that little enthusiastic lady who wanted to venture into politics, and I felt that maybe a little bit about the sojourn of Senator Leko Mustafa may speak to our question. That much I know. Senator Leko Mustafa started from the local government. All right? And I didn't know how many times he contested before he won the local government. I also did not know whether he was a councillor before becoming the chairman of the local government. But from being the chairman of the local government, he probably has contested many elections that he has lost, he contested the last one, and just like your son was told to step down, he was also prevailed upon to step down. So that's the beauty of politics. Everyone, thank you very much for supporting us, sir. God bless you. I want to say at this point that the lecturers and the members of the media, we will continue this discussion at the luncheon that we have upstairs, right? So we can take the vote of thanks. No, we take goodwill messages. Goodwill messages from the director, OU Business School, and we also invite Professor B. Abosede. Competition is a 300 level student. If she's here, please step on this big stage for recognition. Salami Ayodeji Mary. Congratulations. All right. At least from the head of the department, she has won herself 20,000 naira. Congratulations. Oh, 10,000 from the HOD side. Thank you. Right? I now invite Professor Ilon to give his good message. Let's make it
Let me first appreciate our guest here, Alhaji Mohammed, for honoring our invitation. We have learned a lot from the conversation you have had with us. You have been really endowed. And when my brother told me he was going to organize this kind of event, I was really excited. There are a couple of things we have been discussing together. Myself in the business school and himself here. Our concern is how to make what we teach here present to the students in a very practical manner. And that is part of what we have done here today. We have heard it from you, and this is my first time also meeting you for the first time, meeting Alhaji Mohammed. We have only been seeing you behind the tube, and we're happy to see you here. Senator Lekon Mustaka, you're welcome. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. I also want to appreciate my professors here today, and the head of the department, my directors, better further. Well, my business is about the business school. People will say that there's no, what do you do in business school than business? Right? Our university, about 3 years ago, came up with the idea of setting up a business school. I don't know how many of us here said our students understand what we mean by business school. The business school is a specialized component of the university system to provide professional business education and leadership education. That is what we do. And the flagship of most business schools is the business administration, what we call Master of Business Administration. And that is precisely what we do here. We also provide short certificate programs, but for now, in the business school, we are currently selling our admission form is on sale. I don't know how many of us have seen that. So, it's important that we appreciate that. I know the majority of the students have been to that place. I think you know that place now. You know What type of business do you do in the business school now? Okay, you take pictures, Abi. So thereafter, when you finish your degree program, come back. After you have finished your first degree, come back and learn about business management. At that point, if you are a journalist, a PR specialist, you need the business side of it to excel and succeed as a business person. If you set up your practice as a professional, public relations expert, you set up a printing press, you set up an advertising agency, you are running a media house, or TV station, or radio station, you need business knowledge to be able to be able to succeed in what you do. We have already in our first session, we are completing our first session. Within the period of 15-16 months, you will complete your MBA program with us there, Master of Business Administration. Not 2 years, 18-16 months, you are done. The process started in December last year. By the end of May this year, coming year, they will complete their program. So trust me. It is both physical and virtual. So with physical component is for us to interact with you, meet your colleagues, interact and network. Then virtual to make it convenient for you. In the comfort of the office, you can join us and receive our lectures, and we can assure you that OYO Business School is a place to be. Our concern is to build capacity, leadership capacity and managerial competence so that you can excel in whatever you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor B. Apostle, we'll make it snappy, and then we invite Senator Lekon Mustafa.
Good afternoon, everybody. Standing on the existing protocol. Let me first and foremost appreciate Alaji Laila Bodi. Alaji Mohammed. You know, I told you I was one of those that are very critical of your statements in those days. And almost unfortunately, my brother from the same town, Senator Lekon Mustafa, I know he had cause to touch me when I was about a bit critical about certain things. That is life. But one thing you have shown today, which I learned in 1984, that something we call the dance of strategy. You know, it is the same music, but the beats will be different. And therefore, the dancing steps will also be different. It's the same music. And that's why we always say that there's no new thing under the sun. But we can see the same thing in a different way. I thank you for this perspective. And for you to have stood here for that long to present yourself, it means you are very, very agile. Of course, I quite agree with what you have said, and when we are now contributing to this cause in the social media, we will know how to approach it. And the same thing with my brother, even though I'm not quite happy that he stepped down. I'm not happy. And I have told Oshipes of that month that I'm not happy. Anyway, you know, I was also part of the strategic committee of OCP in those days, and I was not too happy with it. But that has gone. Now, Alaji, we have had you, but there is still something wrong with this country. And I'm going to go the way of political science. You know, in Nigeria or in Africa, wọ́n ní tí ọba kan ò bá kú, ọba mi ò kì í jẹ. Why don't we look at monarchical democracy? Thank you very much.
HOD for science. Take note. Monarchical democracy. I think at this point, I'm going to invite Senator Rahman Lekon Mustafa. But while he's coming, let me say something. This Egbon loves me passionately. I can say that. In the past 4 years, I will go to his house on every Salah, and he will insist I must sit down. And he will dice the Salah meat and give me a large pack. No. And to the glory of God, except today that I'm going to make a demand from my Egbon. Egbon, by the special grace of God, you have come to visit me in my department. The Lord will speak to you. Right? Allah, in His mercy, will minister to you. And you will do something that will make me so happy that I can go and tell my colleagues, that is my Egbon. I know that you look before my hand.
Well, thank you very much. But I don't think are you launching anything today? Okay, maybe when we get to the point of launching the program, we can talk about what I need to give to your council. But if we are not launching anything today, then it's better reserve that invitation till the day you are having something like that. Thank you very much. Okay, if it is in your program, why not? Well, my big brother, Alhaji Mohammed, I actually agreed to come for this event because I noticed that you are the person that will be there, that will be hosting today. Because you have been a very passionate communicator. A very passionate communicator, and I know that when you talk to people that have been built to become professional communicators, it would be nice to listen to you when you talk to them. And I'm a bit happy that I came and I met you talking to them, probably answering questions. But of course, in the course of answering those questions, I was able to pick a few things that I've ever noticed in you, which is your consistency in passing messages and passing information to people. I am sorry for coming late. I had other engagements, and I didn't know that this program will start at exactly the time that, at exactly 10 o'clock time that you planned it to start. So I'm really very sorry. I listened to everything that, I listened to some part of those things that he said towards the end of his conversations with you. And I want to tell you that if you follow the path of Alhaji Mohammed, you probably succeed as professional communicators. He single-handedly built what you will call APC today, starting from Alliance for Democracy in Lagos State, then to AC, then to ACN, then to APC. Some of us didn't start with refugees. We started in AD, but we had some disagreements and we had to move away to PDP. Even before AD was launched. AD, to those of you who are not very well informed about politics, AD came out of PDP. Even though they became the most critical opponents of PDP, but they came out of PDP as a result of some misunderstandings and things like that. At the point of going to launch the party, then they broke away. But we thank God today that we are all where we are today. It probably built APC, like I said, starting from AG. Everything that he said about the party, whether you like it or not, you want to read. Anytime he speaks about politics, you want to listen to him. You may like what he has said, you may not like it, but you want to listen because you will need to pick one or two things from what he has said. He has lectured most of us there today about what it takes to be in politics. Fortunately and unfortunately, politics is not a game that you can play alone. Therefore, my brother, Professor Mohammed, said he wasn't happy when I stepped down. That was not the first time I was stepping down. In 1992, I wanted to be council chairman of our local government. In 1992. My main opponent in the party then was my father's classmate in primary school. So we started going around, started lobbying party members and delegates to vote for us in the primaries. It got to a point that it became very clear to almost everybody that I would win that primary. Then another approach now came into the game. Now people started visiting my father. Before they visited my father, they first of all visited his younger brother in Lagos that they knew was very, very close to him. And they told him that they needed to visit my father with him. So he came from Lagos, he met with my dad, and they told him that, well, we don't think that it will be good that your son will be the one to kill your friend. Then my father said, how? They told him that, well, this thing that is going on, if you are looking at it as a game, it is not a game of. This man, we all know, was your schoolmate, was your classmate in primary school. He retired as a school principal. He wanted to be council chairman. Now your son is challenging him. And for some reason, it is almost clear to us that your son will defeat him if you go for this primary. So it is better we persuade your son, since he still has by the grace of God, he has longer days ahead of him, that he should allow this old man to be the chairman, and then he should wait for another time so that he can become the chairman. My father said, okay, no problem. My father just called me and said, not everybody has been in Jebu. So he spoke in Jebu to me and said, we want for a wedding already. I told him, I said, yes, I know that. Okay. They have visited me, they have said so and so. He was laughing because my father was very, very jovial person. I was just looking at you. I thought maybe you would just go to that exercise and probably gather some experiences that can be useful to you in the future. Now I have noticed that you have a very good chance of winning this primary, but I don't want you to continue. And that was the end of the thing. Some people were fighting me. Why would you listen to? I said, why would I listen to my father? Am I mad? That was the end of it. And to the glory of God, that Baba today, it was 90 some months ago. I was present at his 90th birthday. That Baba, since that time, there is no political move that I made that the man will not support me. Not one. Even if I'm going wrong, he will go wrong with me. So with that, if I begin to think of the way the man has behaved towards me since I did that thing, then I will tell you that I'm very happy you have done what my father told me to do. Unfortunately, it's not always like that. Sometimes you will do it and somebody will come back to say that if he didn't step down, I would have defeated him. you know, but it's okay, it's one of those things. But there's always another day. When people say that to you, then you go and prepare and challenge them another day. Because this political thing, like our Oga here, Mohammed knows, is something that one day you will say, oh, this politics, the one is too much. Another day you will say, I can never leave politics. Oh. So when people say politicians are not consistent, sometimes you might be right. You might be right because when you will see some challenges, you will say, why am I even in this thing? And then another time will come, you will see where people will appreciate the little contributions that you have made, then you will be ever proud to be part of the system. So it's one of those things. Professor Mosede said he wasn't happy that I stepped down. Unfortunately, I had to at that time. Long story, very, very long story. But everybody involved, everyone involved at that time, everything I told them came to pass. And what they were running away from happened eventually. So, but we thank God for his message. And we thank God for everything. So thank you very much, Professor Mosede, for supporting me. And I also want to thank you for your very kind words, both in Yebubo and in other places. Thank you very much.
Before my one, two of them belong to mass communications family. And as we are seated, since morning, this event is live on YouTube. For us, the lecturer, you can see a student came, chanted, then the lecturer took it from her, continued it. That is the passion that we bring to our work. That is the passion, sir, that drives us. My concern, sir, and that of my team, is that when these young ones graduate, many of them should not be writing applications. Before you go, we'll take you to our photojournalism studio. You take pictures. All done by the students. Today we're talking about the legacies, the effort, the dexterity of Alhaji Mohammed. For us who are in this profession also, we will not always be here. What will be said about us as our legacy? And one of those things we want to do is to bequeath a good practical studio, so that these students will not just be learning the theories, they will also have their hands on. And that's why I'm begging you, sir. Alhaji, I know the passion you have brought into this. I can imagine how much goodwill that you have committed to this project. But I will be very sincere if I don't tell you that I need more of your assistance. These are the ones who will take over from us. We want to be able to sit back and look at what they're doing and then thank our stars that we contributed to their development. And this is where I need your support. I think I will take it up from there where we get to caucus meeting upstairs. We are doing this thing, it's a political thing. We are leaving the mass market now. We'll be going for caucus meeting. Right? Caucus meeting. So, may I invite Dr. Akawalara Odule to please come and give the vote of thanks. But please take note all those who have the special invite, please join us at the second floor at the Arrow Demoran place there, where we have a caucus meeting. Our students, please stay. You are enjoying yourself already, so they will take you through. And then the others, Mrs. Bello will also take care of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. On behalf of the Department of Mass Communication, I want to appreciate everyone there present. I want to start with my mother and the University Librarian, Professor Chike Onipadi. Thank you for coming. They give you invite. And my brother, Professor Chike. We love you, and we see what we meant that we are part of this department, so we only let you have for some period. I all professors that present, I thank you for coming, especially my father, Professor Mohammed, and Professor Adewale. All the people that present, and all the senior we thank you. So what to appreciate our father, Professor Mustafa. I was once an apostle of Professor Mustafa when I was a deputy, but now that I'm left politics. And our father, and Baba Iyao, Baba Walai Mohammed, we thank you so much. In fact, I know today will remain a vacuum to the students of mass communication. We thank you for coming and we appreciate your lecture. So our students, thank you for coming. And member of the press, gentlemen of the press, thank you for being today one of the dreams committee. So the industry manufacturer will appreciate you. Mass confidence, the greater communicator. The greater communicator. Well, congratulations, you made this possible. Once again, we thank you, sir.